let's go ahead and get started with County Measure J. And I'm going to just quickly read the brief summary on County Measure J. This is a yes or no vote. And community investment and alternatives to incarceration minimum county budget allocations. So shall the measure annually allocate in the county's budget no less than 10% of the county's locally generated unrestricted revenues in the general fund to address the disproportionate impact of racial injustice through community investment and alternatives to incarceration, and prohibiting using those funds for carceral systems and law enforcement agencies as detailed in the ordinance adopting purpose charter amendment, should it be adopted. Okay, so that was a lot of mushed up words, right?
Yeah.
But this is really saying, do we want to reallocate funds for the community, within the community, to address the disproportionate and the impact of racial injustice, dealing with our justice system, dealing with our police officers. This is not an alternative to, but this is a real question about how do we fix the disproportionate and the systemic racism issues with our law enforcement and other community policing issues. If someone needs mental health facility or help in that type of way, as opposed to just calling the police, is there another entity that we can call, another phone number that we can call, hotline, things like that we can call to deal with this type of issue, as opposed to just directly calling the police? And now someone who has a mental health issue is now being arrested for something that is silly. It also addresses issues like that within the community. And so I do want to hear your thoughts first on what you think about Measure J, how it makes you feel, and let's get into that conversation.
Well, it certainly sounds like a good start.
Goes on to enumerate the public and county departments at a public hearing for the following primary purposes: direct community investment, that's great, community-based youth development programs, job training and jobs to low-income residents, focusing on jobs that support the implementation of the alternatives to incarceration work group recommendations as presented to the County Board of Supervisors on March 10th, 2020, especially construction of jobs for the expansion of affordable and supportive housing, restorative care villages, and a decentralized system of care. Access to capital for small minority-owned businesses with a focus on Black-owned businesses, rent assistance, housing vouchers. I mean, all of this sounds good.
Yeah, I think that it's first admitting that there is a problem, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's doing. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't solve everything, but it seems like a step in the right direction.
The fact that this deals with systemic racism in a way that we haven't seen on a bill, I mean, on a ballot yet. I think that this is a really step in the right direction, as Michelle already said. There's a lot more than just reallocating the funds, but there's also now taking those funds and making it better for community members within individual communities. And I think that we can really help not just small businesses, not just homeless population, not just low income families, not just people that are suffering with mental health issues, but just like uplifting whole communities in general on all aspects. And so that's what, for me, Measure J is saying.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that if you've been out there, marching this summer, if you've been tweeting, if you've been, even doing more, writing politicians, joining phone banks, this is where you put your ink to the paper.